In previous episodes, the show explores how humans live and form connections when crammed into a small space under a tight, confined military rule. While episode 3 explores what it's like to be alone, isolated, and learning to survive, all while keeping your humanity intact. Warning, warning, spoilers beyond this point. If you're with us this far, we're going to be talking about the episode in depth, so please leave if you haven't seen the show yet. Go watch it. And before we dive into it, here at the Rogers Revue, we are trying something new this year, so we're trying to grow out the channel. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the like, check us out on all the social medias under the Rogers Revue, and go to our website. The link is in the description below. We're going to jump right into this episode. It may seem a little bit long and a little slow for some people, but this third episode gives us a brief glimpse into a different survival mode. We start off in the current day. Weirdly enough, it is in 2023. We see Ellie and Joel trying to navigate the situation now that it's just the two of them. Joel is trying to continue survive, working through his grief of losing Tess, while Ellie continues to show her amazement and her innocence of being outside of a Fedra-controlled city for the very first time in her life. She's never really seen the outdoors, she's never been camping or sleeping outside, so she's surprised by things like bugs and the moss and the trees and things such as airplanes, which nobody's really allowed to do anymore. So it's all brand new to her, and we get to see this adventure through her innocent eyes. She's also there to ask all of the questions that we, the audience, want to know. How can the world turn upside down all in one day? That's a question we're all thinking about and wondering how this mutated fungus ended up this catastrophic worldwide event. And even though no one knows for sure, Joel tells us his leading theory that the fungus mutated and it was introduced into the food supply, into things like common ingredients such as flour, which is then distributed across the world and eaten by people in all these different cities via cereal, pancake mix, ordinary foods. And as they continue to eat more of it, they get infected, and over time, within a short period of time, an entire city is infected and people are behaving in ways that they would not before. And that is how he believes that the entire world was thrown into chaos and the loss of humanity started to spiral. Personally, as someone who's lived through some stuff in the past few years, this is the thing that can go into our terrifying thoughts and wonderful nightmare fuel for the future, because why not? On their continued trek to, I think they're headed towards another Firefly location. We'll figure out where they go eventually. Ellie asks some questions. Joel's trying to navigate her around to keep some innocence, but Ellie, being Ellie, decides to say, nope, I'm going my own path. And her curiosity kind of leads her to this horrifying sight of a mass grave, which Joel explained is a result of the earliest days where the military was trying to control and contain the outbreak. The show gives us a flashback to September 30th, 2003, and we are introduced to Bill. Bill, this wonderful doomsday fanatic who is hiding out in his house, and he has all of the things you could ever want if, let's say, the world were to disappear into an apocalyptic area. He is hiding out in his house when the military is rounding up everyone in the village. Spoiler alert, we kind of know what happened to them. He ends up monitoring the whole thing via his security monitors, and as the only human left in town, our hardcore survivalist decides to gather whatever he needs to secure his home and his town. He ends up ransacking the local stores and works out to build the defenses for his home. One day in 2007, one of his traps captures another man, this guy named Frank, and he ends up bringing some humanity back to both of them. Together, they manage to find some companionship, and with the help of some tasty food and wine, remember that ransacking earlier? Wine shop is a very important key stop during the apocalypse. Frank, who's not quite the survivalist lifestyle, uses the radio to try to form some form of connection with other human beings, which, let's be honest, probably not the best idea ever, but somehow it works out for him. He manages to kind of form some sort of friendship with Tess over the radio and invites her over. Bill, our survivalist guy, ends up in the weird position of hosting a dinner party with his partner Frank, Tess, and Joel. And while those two are bonding really well and having fun talking with other human beings, Joel ends up giving Bill some realistic advice about the longevity of his protections, the risk of human raiders that could come through, and basically telling him that the two of them cannot survive on their own without having other people to at least trade with. I don't want to go through the episode beat by beat because I hope you're going to go back and watch it for yourself. This was an emotional episode with a story focused on human connections and what people will do for the ones they love. Joel and Ellie do make it to the house. They get a nice warm shower and some essential supplies. The thing that they've been looking for a while, a car with a battery. They end up strapping in. Ellie had never seen a seatbelt before, didn't know what to do, so Joel had to be a father-like figure and help her figure it out. And she went and popped some music in with a cassette tape so that they could have some music on their road trip. Thank you for hanging out with us so far here at the Rogers Revue. As I mentioned earlier, we are doing something new this year, so if you could do us a favor and hit the subscribe button, it'll let you know the next time we post something, and hopefully you'll join us next time when we talk about The Last of Us and with some of our upcoming interviews. We appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.